So in terms of the network function virtualization solutions we launched 5 things from my business unit, Communications and Media Solutions, and they were part of the overall HP Open NFV announcement. So those 5 things were the NFV Director. So NFV Director is an orchestration solution. So we think this is going to be critical to making NFV successful going forward because it will actually provide that flexibility that we're expecting. It'll enable an application to grow. For example, we have already our Speed Video CDN content delivery network. We can show how we can instantiate new content delivery network endpoints when there's a demand. So it helps the service provider meet a video demand for a sporting event or something like that. So NFV Director will do that, set up that capacity. It will also monitor it once it's set up. So we think that's also critical because no telecom operator is going to want to give up the reliability they've expected in their network because they're moving to a virtualized environment. So monitoring is going to be critical. So NFV Director, we launched a new product in our mobility area called the Home Subscriber Server, Virtual Home Subscriber Server, VHSS. So the compelling use case for that is previously this kind of subscriber data management environment could take months to set up. Now it's seconds. We can install a home subscriber server environment, gets a customer up and running. So this is particularly applicable for 4G. So home subscriber server is what 4G subscribers talk to whenever they turn their phone on or move between cells. So it's pretty critical. This solution will allow some interesting use cases like virtual network operators who might want to have separate databases for different regions or different countries. So VHSS is the second one. And then we upgraded some of our portfolio. So we're gradually moving all of our applications up through the maturity of network function virtualization. So with this launch, we launched the multimedia services environment. So now it has a virtualization capability. This is particularly applicable for voice over IP or video services that a telecom operator might want to apply in their network. And then we launched the upgraded Speed Video CDN, which I mentioned. So Speed Video is now fully virtualized. The last thing that we launched is an NFV consulting offer. So our business unit is very strong in services. So we can do all kinds of delivery, outsourcing, managed services, and consulting. And we can see a huge interest right now in understanding better what NFV can do for. So a service provider says, what can NFV do for my business? We can come in a consulting environment, can tailor the length of it as you want. We can help them understand their strategy and how can they can upgrade their solutions, their network, to take advantage of network function virtualization. So in terms of use cases and references for network function virtualization, it's very nascent. It's a new market. What we're seeing this year, it's very much an early adopter market in the telco. Some visionaries are trying these things out. We're working with some operators. Some are public, like BT, to try out virtualization for these network components. So within that context, we're seeing certain use cases being very relevant, being the most important ones that are coming up right away. Key one is the virtualized customer premise equipment, we call VCPE, which is part of the virtualized home use case that Etsy has defined. And we're working with some operators on that. 2 examples there. One is the set-top box environment. So I don't know at your house, but at my house, you've got a Wi-Fi router, I've got a set-top box from my internet service provider, they have a separate box which does the TV. Combine that all into one, but virtualized. So the actual smarts and intelligence sits in a data center somewhere and goes across the broadband network. Reduce the cost dramatically for the service provider and also open up functionality, which they don't have today because it was too expensive to put it all in the box. Another key one we're seeing, but there are lots of them, is the content delivery network that I was highlighting earlier. Content delivery network, again, already this solution was running on industry standard servers, so no big change there. But what's new is really this flexibility, and very relevant in video because the demand is peak, trough, depending on what people want to watch, depending on what's going on in the world. So those are some of the key use cases we're seeing today. Yeah, so our priorities for 2014 and then looking into next year is really about building out the network function virtualization. So our goal is to move our whole portfolio up NFV maturity. And we say that, we've defined 4 levels of maturity. It's starting to get some traction in the industry as a definition. And that is the idea that at the first level, it's simply you're running on commercial off-the-shelf infrastructure, blade servers, for example, common storage. And then you move into a virtualized environment. You're running on a virtualized environment. You can be managed by a hypervisor. For us, we don't care which hypervisor it is. And then the third level is now you can be elastic. You can grow the application. You can add virtual machines and resource. Fourth level is you're capable to be orchestrated, to be controlled and managed by a controller layer. And I think that's kind of the ultimate nirvana of NFV, is when you can actually, according to policy, decide when new resources should be applied for an application, like a content delivery or like a voice over IP server or voice over LTE. Once you can do that, you've really achieved the benefit. You can elastically grow it, shrink it back down, and the key thing there is actually turn off hardware when you're not using it. So we thought Mobile World Congress 2014 an amazing show. 80,000 people, it seems, or is the number that's been reported, so that's an amazing growth from last year. But for us, this was a year we went big in telecom. We feel like we went big for HP. We took a bigger booth. We got a lot of visibility and presence. A very important year for us. And I think we were really ahead of the market with our network function virtualization announcements and the content we brought. No one else is showing the Etsy use cases that we showed at the show, and we got a huge amount of positive feedback on that. People really appreciated seeing this stuff, able to touch it and try it out. It's not just HP, it's partners, and they can see it all and try it at Mobile World Congress.